to
What
me.
other trauma was there?
So I know earlier that side during the time that you asked me about my father and if, you know, him being away was beneficial to me. My father, when I was 16.
Sorry to hear about that. Man, like,
that nothing happened before his time. And maybe at the time that, and that's your saying that you taught me, right? Nothing happened before his time, and maybe at that time I wasn't ready to tell the world. But here it is, it's out.
what do you
Karma
think?
will be at your doorstep, young man.
Whew. Why did the authorities take your child away?
So basically,
I'm here for you to express yourself, right? But I gotta, just like I said, I gotta keep it funky. Like, is it just possible that y'all can just co-parent?
so I tried that.
Because that's what your daughter is gonna want. What's up, YouTube? Guys, if you ever need to reach out to me, follow me on IG at Marcus the Interviewer. Now back to the content. What's up, YouTube? Atlanta Street Interviews out here with another one. So we got a young lady with us today. So guys, this is kind of a special case because this young lady reached out to me. And so I guess there's something going on where you lost custody of your child?
Yes.
Okay, so first and foremost, how you doing today?
I don't even know.
Not the greatest, huh? Okay, well, we're gonna get into it. So, how old are you?
I don't have to disclose that.
Now look, now you know how this works. You've seen my interviews. All right, quick interruption, but okay. So, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, 33. 33 is a great age, and you look great. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So you're 33. Have you ever been married?
No.
No. Okay. How many children do you have?
I currently have 3 children.
3 kids. Okay. And so, are all of them with you?
Unfortunately, one is not with me.
Okay. So how old are your kids, first and foremost?
So I have a 14-year-old, I have an 11-year-old boy, they're both boys, and I have a 2-year-old daughter.
Okay. I hear this accent, so I already know where it's coming from, but we'll get into that in a second. Okay, so the boys live with you?
Yes, the boys live with me.
Okay. So what happened to your daughter?
So basically, my daughter, my rights were recently revoked, apparently, in court last Friday on the 22nd. The case is currently in Fulton County Superior Court. Her father basically has me in court for legitimation. He served me with papers for legitimation back in June 2022. And it's just weird to me that how could you start a legitimation case without any proof of DNA? Clearly, his filing is inaccurate, and how could he be able to do something like that without being there being a paternity acknowledgement form that was signed between all parties and our daughter being present for me to be able to participate in a DNA test. So I have every reason
Okay, but I mean, I get all that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm here to hear, your story and everything else, but is he the dad?
He might not be. I mean to sound like
a minute.
hoe, but
Wait a minute now. So this little girl is 2 years old?
Yes, my angel's 2 years old.
Okay. Well, I mean, was he the only person you was having sex with at the time?
No. And I have every reason to believe that it was done on purpose, so that he could be stuck with me for life.
Well, what was done on purpose?
Me getting pregnant.
So you're acknowledging that he got you pregnant?
Potentially. Around the time that I was doing my own thing and he knew about it, and I told him that I was, he took advantage of me.
How?
I was drunk.
Okay. So he had sex with you. Was that your first time having sex?
So basically one night, the night that I was starting to suspect that something was wrong is when I woke up to him ejaculating all over my arm.
Wait, what?
Yes, I was sleeping butt naked. He was ejaculating all over
my
arm.
let's get this straight. So were y'all in a relationship?
No.
Okay, but y'all were sexual with each other?
At one point, yes.
Okay. So All right. The do you
sorry,
understand?
That threw me off too,
Well,
man.
because do you understand that you're the one that let him in between your legs, right?
That night if I conceived that night, I don't remember anything.
Well, I get it, but it could possibly be other nights as well, right? Because y'all
If I was asleep, then that's weird.
How often would y'all have sex?
I don't remember. It's like 3 years ago.
3 years? You don't remember? I mean, were y'all having sex like just like once a month, or was it like, fairly often?
At first, it was fairly often.
Okay, so I mean,
but I wasn't pregnant. Like I have like me messaging my friends like, oh, I think I'm pregnant, and nothing, completely nothing.
Okay, so how many other potential fathers are there?
So my homeboy that I was intimate at the time that I wasn't intimate with him reached out to me after he saw that I was on vacation with my kids and I was pregnant with the belly, and he's like, hey, why didn't you tell me you was pregnant? And I was kind of confused as to why he asked me that, because I thought that, I don't know, it didn't cross my mind for me to ask him. We later on had this conversation as it pertains to him being the potential father, and he just said he doesn't know.
Okay. All right, so let's just start from the beginning, okay? So where are you from?
I'm from New York, baby.
I think we all can hear that accent.
New York, baby. Strong Island, baby.
Okay, you from Long Island, Strong Island.
Yes,
Yes, sir. All right, hey, man. Shout out New York, man. Shout out the whole city all day. All day. Shout out that Long Island, man. Yes, sir. All right, and so growing up in Long Island, did you have both mom and dad in the household?
At first I did, and they got divorced.
How old were you when they got divorced?
I was 4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was your dad active and present after that?
No, my dad was extremely abusive to my mom, so we couldn't stay in the same household.
Okay. Was he active and present as far as with you guys, though, as far as being a dad? No?
No.
So it's pretty much non-existent after that?
Pretty much.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
I'm one of 7.
1 of 7? Where are you in the birth order?
I'm the middle. Number 4.
Okay, lucky number 4. I ain't mad at that. And so, I mean, growing up, well, first, what effect do you think your dad not being in your life after 4 had on you?
So, I want to say now that I know what I know and experience what I experienced, it was for my safety.
Okay, so I get it, but what effect do you think it had while you was growing up?
It affected me because I've always been a daddy's girl, and him coming in and out of my life was just a slap in the face, especially when he told my mom one day he had a wife to take care of and he couldn't take care of me.
How did that make you feel?
Not wanted.
By, the man that's supposed to love you first and foremost, right? Your dad. And so, I mean, growing up, would you say that you had like a fairly normal childhood?
Yeah, pretty much.
Had a good childhood?
Yeah.
Okay. You went to high school?
Yes.
Graduated?
Yes.
Okay. Any college after that?
Yes, I'm a nurse.
You're a nurse?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're RN?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. How long you been an RN?
For like 8 years. I quit.
You had quit?
Yeah, it just became, I was actually going through domestic violence and I couldn't balance the two.
What? Okay, so, all right, so let's...
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, okay, because, I mean, so you're 33. Your oldest son is 14, which means you got pregnant around 18, 19, right? Okay. And so when was the domestic violence relationship?
It occurred, I actually met his dad when I was 17, turning 18. It occurred like 2 months after I met him.
2 months after? Okay.
And so like 8 years.
So he's the father of both the boys?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so during that time, you went to college, got your degree, became a registered nurse.
3.7.
Okay. Hey, man. Hey, you better show them how smart you are.
Okay.
I love it. All right. And so, bottom line is, though, you became a RN. What was he doing at the time?
He was doing, he was working, doing like garbage trucks, then he became a driver.
So you guys was like, living a decent looking life, He was working, you was working. You didn't respond to that. Were y'all living a decent looking life?
No.
Tell me about it.
Because he didn't like the fact that I was independent. And often he would call my job and try to get me fired, threatening to shoot the doctors I work for.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? There's a rumor out there that nurses are freaks. I don't know. I've heard it.
Just take care
Maybe
of
I've experienced it, maybe not. I don't know, but they say that nurses definitely get around. Okay.
Well,
how true is that?
I can't attest to something that I don't agree with, but I would like to say that I was a good woman to him, and I didn't deserve that.
Okay, so I mean, bottom line is that didn't apply to you.
No.
Okay. And so he was just being insecure. Is that what you're saying?
Insecure. This guy broke my mom's door down. He was on the roof looking for me through the window. That
so I
type
mean,
of
so let me
crazy
ask.
shit.
So you know, if it started a couple months after you knew him, why did you stay for 8 years?
Well, I didn't stay. I kind of like ran away. He was stalking me, like I mentioned a few seconds ago. I was at work. My brother told me he was.
So y'all wasn't together when he was doing that stuff. Okay.
He didn't even care that we wasn't together.
How long were y'all together? Because y'all did have 2 kids. So I mean,
So the
at
first.
certain points, you know, like I mean, come on now.
I was in high school, just graduating high school. You know, got pregnant.
I get the first one, but what about the second one? Because
second one
at
was
that point, he had been abusing you for a couple years. At that point.
Yes, and I left because I didn't want to kill him, so I left.
Okay.
And he invited me to dinner to apologize for what he put me through, and that's how the second one was conceived.
He just melted like butter. I mean, at some point, right? You know.
You know how it go. I mean, if you do know, you know.
Hey, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad. Things happen. All right, I get it. Okay, so but the bottom line is that you know, so you quit nursing because of the abuse?
I quit because it wasn't something that I was truly passionate about.
Okay.
I'm passionate about helping people, and I love people, but energetically it was just draining me. I needed time to heal myself from a lot of the trauma that I was suppressing throughout the years.
What other trauma was there?
So I know earlier that I sighed during the time that you asked me about my father and if, you know, him being away was beneficial to me. My father, when I was 16, sodomized me.
Sorry to hear about that. Man, like,
Talk about this right now.
How often do you talk about this?
I mean, I've healed, but it's just
Still triggering?
it's just embarrassing. It's humiliating, and it's not fair. Yeah, he took my innocence in that type of way.
How did that end up happening?
So my dad used to sell pillows. He had his own factory, and I used to go to Jersey on the weekends to help him sell the pillows. And we would go to the flea market like 5 a.m. in the morning, and we would leave in the afternoon. And to me, I was always a child that worked very young. And I made more money with my dad on the weekends, just, you know, selling his merchandise that he made. And it was a good experience because, like I said, I've always been a daddy's girl. So pretty much one night we came back, and it was like a little late. We're driving from Newark to South Jersey. So I'm in high school. I go to school all week. I work a couple days of the week, and then I'm working with my dad on the weekend. I was so tired. I remember having a sidekick. So one night he made me some. We didn't really eat all day because I was like busy working. So when I got back, he made me some food, and he gave me this tea. I don't remember falling asleep. I didn't even take a whole sip of the tea. Because it was hot. And I just remember waking up the next morning feeling like a truck ran over my body. Like I was in so much pain, and I didn't understand why I was in so much pain. I went to the restroom, and I felt like I had to use the bathroom. And I couldn't. and I saw blood in the toilet, but I didn't even have my period, so I was confused, like, what's going on? I felt like I was interfered with, but I just couldn't. I'm 16, I'm a virgin, I don't know what the hell is going on. Why am I waking up with pain? I'm not going to suspect that my dad did something to me, but what the hell happened, and why am I in here freaking out? Why is my anus bleeding? My anal area was bleeding. I didn't use the bathroom for 2 weeks.
So
I was scared.
what ended up happening? Like, did you tell anyone?
I told my mom.
And what happened?
My mom and I didn't have the best relationship. She probably just didn't know how to, talk to me, or she just probably just, I don't know.
Well, what did she do? I
told her, she was just like, she just looked at me, laying on the bed, depressed, crying, and she just walked away. She really, like I said, we didn't have the closest relationship. She allowed, certain things to happen to me that I just...
What else did she allow to happen to you?
Oh, God, it's a lot. So, she allowed my brother to beat on me.
To beat on you?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know. She was probably
At what
scared.
age?
Well, he was a grown man, and I was in high school. But he's always beat on me since I was a little girl. He kind of was like the house bully. He beat up on his siblings,
Like when y'all would do stuff? Like...
No. If he came home, he would be like, yo, go clean my room. And, like, just slap you or something if he felt like it.
Okay, so are both your parents still alive?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever tell anybody else about what your dad did?
I told my mother, I told my stepmother, and the thing about it is, the thing that's ludicrous is that it's for some weird reason to deal with that trauma, like that day I was in the bathroom trying to figure out what the fuck was going on with me, excuse my language.
That's okay.
I didn't know how to respond because all the love that I had for my dad just froze. Like I was just numb. I wasn't myself for so many years after that happened to me. And being in that time is like I had to force myself to forget about it. Me wanting a family structure for myself, my family's not from here, they're from Trinidad, Tobago. So me not having that close-knit family, he introduced me to this woman that I call my stepmom throughout the years, and basically her daughters took me in as their sister. So it was just like a front I had to put up between them. They didn't know. I forced myself not to remember. My dad act normal, but he would always tell them like, oh, she doesn't listen to me. I never went back to his house after that. He tried to get me to live with him. I didn't want to live with him.
Did you ever talk to him about it?
No. But I remember one day that I was in her house in Brooklyn, because that's usually where we would meet up, and I just looked at him and I just started crying, and I couldn't take it anymore. That's when I knew I had to leave because...
So here's one of the things that we do on this channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have conversations with people when they're not right in front of us. Sometimes it's easier to get out how we feel when they're not standing right in front of us.
Yeah.
If you could say anything to your dad, what would you tell him?
That nothing happened before his time. And maybe at the time that, and that's your saying that you taught me, right? Nothing happened before his time, and maybe at that time I wasn't ready to tell the world. But here it is, it's out.
What do you
Karma
think?
will be at your doorstep, young man.
Oof. What do you think his reaction is going to be?
I don't care.
When was the last time y'all talked?
Like 2018.
It's been 5 years?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Honestly, I tried to keep a relationship with my father, but then I realized I was hurting myself more than I was helping myself. And I needed to heal from a lot of trauma.
I was about to say, that happened before you got with this guy that was abusing you.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, you kind of were groomed to accept the abuse. And even, you just said it, you still tried to have a relationship with him without going through the process of healing first and having that conversation. and that was just going to be abusive to yourself. So
because he's so old and stubborn, like he's just like an old stubborn man. Like his story is a story, and he's still talking about my mom putting him on child support. Like get the stepping, get the stepping.
So let's talk about your mom. So why do you think y'all have such a bad relationship?
To be honest with you, I don't know. My family members always notice the difference between how she treats me versus everyone else. And I even asked her, like, Mommy, why do you hate me so much? Like, she's never been there to birth any of my kids. When she thought I was dying, they actually both showed up. So, I mean, I guess
when did they think you was dying?
So with my second child, I had severe preeclampsia to where he was detached from the placenta. And I basically went in after work and they told me I had 10 minutes to live. I literally, like, my soul left my body. I was looking at my body and I was looking at the doctors.
Jeez.
And I was just like, because I cried so hard when they told me something was wrong with him. And then out of nowhere, I'm looking at my body and the doctors and like, what's going on? And they're screaming at each other. And next thing I know, I wake up like 2 days later. And the next day, my parents were there.
How'd that make you feel?
I probably died. I don't know. How does it make me feel?
How did it make you feel seeing them there? You know, like, especially, you know, you say you and your mom didn't have the greatest relationship and this and that. Did you feel like at that moment, like, oh, she does love me?
I felt like, you know, similar to my brother, he had passed, the one that abused me, 2009. I mean, everybody showed up for his funeral. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to his funeral because my abusive ex would not let me go. So I felt like they just showed up because they thought I was going to die.
Okay. All right. So why did the authorities take your child away?
So basically, it appears to me that there is clearly conflict of interest in this entire case.
Because where is the child now?
She's currently at her father's house. He's living with his sister.
Okay, so does he have permanent custody, temporary custody, or?
So he was awarded temporary custody due to the fact that the guardian ad litem that's supposed to represent my kid or my daughter, she basically lied. Everything that I tell her.
Y'all nephew is calling me right now. He done called me 10 times, by the way, during this interview. Y'all nephew, y'all know who it is. I ain't even gonna say his name. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
That's fine. So basically, like I said, everything that she's asked me to communicate with her.
So you're talking about the guardian ad litem, right?
Yes.
The court-appointed person that comes in and investigates both households, both situations, and makes a determination to the court.
Right. So she has not completed my investigation as far as talking to the witnesses, speaking to my oldest son who has begged me to speak to her, and I have let her address that to her in reference to, you know, him being a witness firsthand to the abuse from my child's father, especially during my pregnancy, in which I was high risk. She has failed to listen to any of the allegations that I, talked to her about, as far as this man being a drug dealer, selling pills, and trying to force me at the time when I lived with him to sell those pills.
So let me ask, what county is this?
Clayton County.
County?
No. Fulton County.
Fulton County? Okay. Okay. Listen, I think that you definitely have a traumatic past and everything else, but, I'm gonna keep it fair and square as far as this whole situation with the 2-year-old, right?
Yes.
I mean, is it possible that you and the dad can just choose to just co-parent peacefully?
So here's the thing that's so weird, right? Now, when I became pregnant with her, and I told him that I later on told him that I didn't think he was the dad because I was just being honest.
And so can I interject right there?
Yes.
Why can't we just go get a DNA test?
Right, like a real one, because I don't know where he got that one from.
Did we do one already?
No. That I actually put in a petition for child support, and that's pretty much what I signed the affidavit for a few weeks ago.
So you're gonna take a DNA test?
Yeah, so let me just go back to that, because he actually had his attorney file a motion for contempt to have me arrested back in, for him to get full custody.
Because can I say something real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So if I asked him, would his story be that you're basically keeping his daughter away from him?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well let me say this, right? As a dad, I just came from my daughter's. Okay, just literally left from over there. You know that was the reason why I was late getting here, right?
Okay. I'm sorry.
well, no, it's no worries. But the point that I'm making is that my daughters are everything to me.
Oh, I agree.
Okay,
Yes.
and so I can't imagine if their mom would try to pull some stunt where she was trying to keep my daughters away from me. First of all, they would never allow that to happen.
That's ludicrous.
But my kids are older now. At 2 years old, there isn't much that your daughter can do. So, okay, what is your response to that? Like, because I'm gonna say that as a dad, I am certainly an advocate for dads being in their kids' lives, especially their daughters.
Absolutely.
So what is your response to that?
So me, like I just introduced myself as a daddy's girl. You know, I've always had a found love for my father. That's just what I knew until my innocence was taken away. And I forgive him. I can honestly say that I forgive him for, you know, because he don't know what he did. And for the most part, when I was pregnant, he told me to get rid of that. He didn't want a baby. He's not ready to be a dad. I've watched this man pull his locks out his head, like just lay in the bed and rip it like he was just like eating fries and pulling them out the box, like ripping his.
Okay, so if everything that you're gonna say is he didn't want to have the kid, but now he wants the kid, because clearly his actions are showing that he wants the kid.
He told me that he wanted her so that he could file taxes for her, and then I could file taxes for my other 2 kids. Nothing as it pertains to potentially wanting to see her grow to be an astronaut per se, or a soccer.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this again. I'm gonna go back to my question.
Copy. Sorry, it's a lot. I want to let
is it? And I'm here. I'm here for you to express yourself, right? But I gotta just, like I said, I gotta keep it funky. Like, is it just possible that y'all can just co-parent?
So I tried that,
because that's what your daughter is gonna want.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm a strong believer that generational curses can be broken, and if we come together and meet at some common ground, you know,
what does that look like for you?
It just looks like, hey, you're gonna be in her life, you're gonna be consistent. It's not all about the money and the child support, but it's about her support emotionally, mentally, and physically. Be there, be a good example.
Well, and so he's showing that he clearly wants to be there, because he's got custody right now.
He's got custody because there's a lot of corrupt stuff going on.
Well, listen, I'm not here to argue against that, because we definitely know that once you get the courts involved, anything can happen.
So that's his fight. His fight is like, I kept him away. We actually spent her first birthday, you know, I tried to reconcile. I went back home to New York. I moved back out here. I got a job at a law firm. And I got childcare, and I said, hey, you know, let's because it's mommy's involved. I call her Mama Bitch. Mama Bitch is involved. And
who?
Mama Bitch.
Who is that?
Mama Bitch is his mama.
Oh, his mom. Okay, I get it.
And I call her that because she don't act like a human being. But my reason for saying that is because even during the pregnancy, no one was engaging in the benefit of our child. Everyone seemed to be distant, and which I can understand if I say this is not his kid. But even after she was born, and we celebrated her first birthday party together, and I moved literally deliberately 10 minutes from her so that I can build that bond and be able to trust somebody. You know, I'm not from here. I need a support system, especially if I just had a baby by someone I barely even know.
Which, let's pause right there.
Yeah, I know.
Let's pause.
Yeah.
We don't even have to say nothing, do we? What's understood ain't got to be explained.
Copy.
Because I mean, there's too much of that goes on. There's too much of that. Okay? Yeah. And then it produces situations like this. Because here's the bottom line, right? Let's just wrap this up. The bottom line is this. I get that you may have a strong case about how the court did you wrong. And you may be 100% right about that. But the bottom line is that little girl's going to need both parents in her life. And she's going to want them to be at peace. That's the only way her spirit is going to be at peace.
So I've asked him, I said, hey, I mean, what is your reason for taking me to the Superior Court? Because in truth, if you really just wanted to get a DNA test and you're not sure this is your child, then we can.
Can I say something? His reason was because you was keeping
That's a lie.
him away from her.
No.
So you wasn't?
No.
Okay, because you had said that. You had said that he would say that. So that's why I was saying that that's what he would say is the reason.
My friends and family were actually very upset with me because of everything that they witnessed and seen. And then I told them, and that the kids told them about, and how I let him come around. Pretty much, I would meet up with him in a public place or at a family member's house, and this guy would be drunk. You could smell the liquor on him.
Well, okay, but so why at 30 years old do you still like that type of guy? Like, I understand if you like that when you was like a young girl and stuff like that.
I was going through my healing stage. I was probably vibrating low at the time.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but as far as moving forward,
yes.
If and when he sees this video, right? Is it possible that y'all can just drop the court stuff? Well, and I get where he's coming from. He's like, hey, look, she put me through all this or whatever, so I got to go through court, get my stuff straight. But even if you don't drop the court stuff, the bottom line is that, is it possible that y'all can just co-parent peacefully? All right, so I had to come and plug up to the car, so we're gonna wrap it up soon. But yeah, I mean, listen, here's the bottom line. I get that things may have happened in the past, that, where you may have a decent case as to him not, showing that he was going to be a good guy or whatever.
See, my thing is, I just wanted him to get, like, the only thing that I was telling the courts is, based on the history of domestic violence where I had to flee my home, like him leaving, like stalking me, like leaving his locks in my driveway and the bear.
This is the same guy, the 2-year-old's dad?
Yes. I mean, you're doing all this craziness, and then you expect me to want to leave my child alone.
So you got both these guys was stalking you now? What you got going on?
It's the island girl. It's the island girl. That's all I can say. Just a Latina también, okay? But that's another story.
Well, I was about to say, let me stop because I know somebody gonna make a comment about that. But okay.
Because I speak a little twingle Spanish. I don't know.
All right. So. All right, well, look, let me say this, right? We really appreciate you taking the time answering all of our questions. It sounds like you got a little bit of legal stuff going on and everything else. And so if anybody out there did want to reach out, help or donate, you have a way to, go ahead. What do you want to say?
So basically, I'm really crying out for help right now because my baby has been crying, saying that she wants her mommy. All I ask the judge and for everybody to know that what's going on, please shed a light on what's going on. Please know that I'm a survivor of true domestic violence. This is not a gimmick. This is not a joke. My kids, we all had to suffer from this. This man made me lose my Section 8, made me homeless. I had to start over so many times because he's stalking me. And, all I asked for them was to give me supervised visits for her. It's for supervised visits. Eventually, we started off with the supervised visits, and then it became him trying to file a motion for contempt by making me pay. So basically what's going on.
Well, what was the contempt? Were you not adhering to the court orders?
So apparently the court ordered, I had an attorney for 1 day. She charged me $500. The attorney basically asked her to ask him for a DNA test because I did tell her the truth that there was other men that might have been her dad. Now, when I asked her that, I told her to let them know that I want a DNA test. They said I was going against the one he already provided, in which I had no knowledge of.
Okay, so he's already done a DNA test.
When? Because he said he never seen his kid.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, bottom line is the court has record.
The court never had a record.
Well, what are they talking about then? If they're saying
the day he filed the motion for contempt, he sent me a picture, and I've asked him several times prior, hey, send me a picture, or let me know what the results were. Can I get the DNA test? Can I get a copy? He ignored me to the T until the day of the hearing.
Well, let me say this. Atlanta Street Interviews will pay for a DNA test. Okay, so however it is, let's get it set up, and we will pay for a DNA test, okay? So we can get that part out the way, and we can get you guys to some peaceful co-parenting for this beautiful princess so that she can have a life that is void of trauma and all this other stuff.
He's already putting his hands on my daughter, and I reported it last week, and that's why they took my rights away. The judge basically told me because I called the cops to his house, I'm in violation of his parenting time when he literally wrote in his order, no corporal punishment administered by nor party to the child.
Oh, and I get that, but you're cutting off your nose to spite your face at this point.
I mean,
because you're the one that lost.
But that's why I lost. That's what they're telling me. The judge been talking to me crazy. Oh, you're gonna lose your kid. I'm gonna take your kid.
I get it, but once the courts get involved, you got to do whatever the judge says, and you got to follow the orders.
Yes,
else they will do that. They will take your kid. They will take your rights away.
I promise. If I had an attorney, this would not happen. They've been just talking to me crazy, doing what they want.
Too. That's true too. When you don't have an attorney, then you kind of screw yourself.
And if I have 3 kids and he's not paying, none of the dads are paying child support, and I can't afford the DNA test you're forcing me to pay for, and he's taking me to court.
Okay, so like I say, Atlanta Street Interviews will pay for the DNA test. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. If anybody out there wanted to reach out, help, or donate, do you have a way they could do that? Do you have social media, Cash App, anything like that?
I have Cash App.
Okay, what's your Cash App?
$money VVS212.
VVS212?
Yeah.
Any legal experts out there want to reach out to this young lady, reach out via email or Instagram to me, and I'll put you in touch with her, okay? All right, guys. Listen, miss, you make sure you have a good one, okay, sweetie?
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too, sweetie.